Welcome to this module on contract types and incentives. Incentives are basically benefits or that you can offer a contractor as a client, or they can also work in a negative way. If things go overboard, incentives can turn out into penalties, not necessarily penalty, but disadvantages in terms of reduction in fee of the contractor. You can set up incentives to either expedite the pace of work, or you can set them up to reduce your cost. If it's just expediting the pace of work, then you have to justify why that incentive should be put in and how much savings are you expecting by completing something earlier. For instance, if you were completing a commercial building, you know the lost rentals for every month of delay can be used as a basis for setting a completion incentive. In this particular case, we will look at the incentives that are related to costs. So there are two types of contracts where you can set you have cost reimbursable contracts. In these type of contracts, all the billing for the work that has been executed will be made by the contractor to the client, and on top of that there will be some fee that will be based on either a percentage, fixed, or some sharing formula. Or you could have a fixed price contract in which uh, the final price is predetermined, and the cost element is just on the side of the contractor. So let's say the first example, we use a cost plus percentage fee. In this type of a contract, you have a fee that's been agreed. So let's say the original estimate was $100,000 and the fee is $10,000. So that means the fee for the contractor is $10,000. The final price will be $120,000 if you add these, and the profit for the contractor is $10,000. In the case where the contractor is able to make a saving in the contract, for instance, the billing is only $80,000, so 10% of that is $8,000. The final cost to the client is $88,000, and the fee that or the profit for the contractor is, in this case, is $8,000. If the project goes to $110,000, then the 10% of that was $11,000. Final cost to the client is $121,000, and the contractor makes $11,000. In this case, what you can see is if there is a saving that's been made, it reduces the profit of the contractor, and if it goes over budget, it increases the profit of the contractor. So the interest of the contractor and the client are completely opposite. A contractor has no reason to make a saving because that would simply result in a lower fee for the contractor. So one way to counter that is to make this fee constant. So no matter what the fee is, no matter what the cost is, the fee is constant. So in this case, $10,000 has been agreed as the fixed fee for the contractor. So if it's finished at 100, the total cost then comes to 110,000 to the client and 10,000 for the contractor. If it's 80, the final cost to the client is $90,000, 10 for the contractor. If 110, then 120 for the final price for the client and 10,000 for the contractor. So the contractor here does not have either an advantage or a disadvantage with a going over budget or making a savings. So they basically really don't care. At least it is better than the last case where you actually put a disadvantage on the contractor making a saving for you, an advantage for them to take the price higher. In this case, they're neutral. But we can actually improve this by trying to do a contract where we pass on some of the benefit of the saving that we're getting to the contractor to incentivize them to make a saving for us. So in this case, we still have a fee, a basic fee of $10,000 that we've agreed with them. But we also have a 85-15 sharing formula, which will be based on the base price. So if the base price is $100,000, nothing happens. The total price to the client is 110,000, and the profit for the contractor is 10,000. However, in the case that they bring us a saving of $20,000, in this case 80,000 instead of 100, so that $20,000 then is used to give them a 15% of that goes to them, which becomes $3,000. So the final price in this case would be 80,000 plus 10,000, which is the original fee, plus the incentive of $3,000. So the total price is $93,000 for the client, and it is $13,000 for the contractor. In this case, so this is a saving, and in this case we have gone over. If we go over, so there's 10,000. This $10,000 then is shared. So 15% of that is minus $1,500. So the final price would be 110,000 plus the fee, original $10,000 minus the $1,500 that is the share of the contractor. So that gives us 118,500, and the contractor in this case makes 8,500. So now you have, when there is a saving, you actually give an advantage to the contractor, and when you're going over budget, then you're also they're getting a disadvantage. So in this case, both have the same interest, both are aligned. So the contractor will try and save as much as they possibly can, because they know that they'll get a share of it, and they will try to avoid being over budget. Another way that you can do this is you can also have a upper limit. So you still have the 85-15, but you have a ceiling price, which means the maximum price that you're going to pay to the contractor. So in this case, $10,000, this 100 is a reference price, and they completed in 100, so there's no sharing. And what you have is the final price. The final price will be 100,000 plus the 10,000 fee for them. So that's 110, and the profit is $10,000. If there is a saving, then it's the same thing as before. That 20,000 saving, they get 15% of that, which is $33,000. That's $3,000 there, and then the total price would be 80. Would be okay. It would be 80,000 plus 10,000 plus 3,000, and that's 93,000, and the profit is 13,000 for the contractor. And if they go over budget in this case, so the price is then now we could calculate that they have gone over budget, and that means that they have they have to pay $1,500. But there's the problem here is that if you compute this, you find out that the total price is coming out to 110 plus 10,000, which is the original fee, minus 1,500, and that gives us 18,000, 118,500. But the problem here is that we have a ceiling price, and the ceiling price is 110. That means we can't pay anything more than $110,000. So since we can't pay anything more than $110,000, that $10,000 just covers the cost. So basically, there is nothing left over for the uh, contractor, so they get nothing because you can't exceed $110,000. In a fixed fee contract, the client is no longer looking at the cost of the uh, contractor. Let's say the contractor has bid $110,000. They expect their price to be 100, so they make $10,000. If they bid for 110 and they make complete in 80, they make $30,000. And if they bid for 110 and complete in 110, they make zero. So so there's no sharing of cost over here. There's a fixed price over here. Also, in a fixed price, you can also in a situation where there's high inflation, you can also have a economic adjustment factor, which is based on the inflation rate, and that can be put in to make sure that you can still run a contract for a multi-year contract. Uh, Basic ideas. So the basic idea here is that uh, you set up a contract based on the expected uh, targets that you have. You want to have alignment with the contractor. If you're going to use a cost plus contract, uh, well, you should avoid contracts that misalign your interest with the contractor so, so to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Okay. Okay, thank you.